Hello everybody, I wanted to share what I've created in Google Gemini, and I want to preface this by saying I am a big fan of the book Holes. I read it to my students every year. They really enjoy it. And every year I'm always looking for a new way to extract value out of that book. What's a new way that the students can appreciate it and experience it? And this year I really wanted to work with Google Gemini in creating an Oregon Trail style game, that's maybe closer to Minesweeper a little bit. As I started to work with it, I started to find that. But let me share with you some aspects that I input into this game, because, again, to input things into Google Gemini and ChatGPT is going to really determine if your product project is AI slop or something that's well crafted. And that's what a lot of proponents of AI have been saying. Lit majors, writers, this is your time to shine. The more you input, the better your imagination, the better your output is going to be. Now, I'm happy with what I've achieved so far, and I've only really worked with it for about 2 hours. And I really want to take it further because I think there's a lot of possibility here with something like this or any book that you're using. You can also input math standards, writing standards. The more detailed you are, the better it's going to be. Now, for myself and only working with the foundations of the game, I have a couple different aspects. I have the ability to dig. So if you press the dig button, you can dig a hole on a 5x5 grid. I chose 5x5 because the book says it's a 5-foot hole across and 5-foot hole deep. So as you dig, you'll notice that your energy starts to deplete. Now, your energy at the beginning of the day depletes at the slowest pace. As the day progresses past 10 o'clock, it starts to go up a little bit. So you'll see that once I get to 10 o'clock, my energy starts to deplete a little bit faster. And once you get to 12 o'clock, which right here you're going to see my energy is really going down. That is the hottest part of the day in the book. So from about 12 to 3, I believe I put in, it will go down the most. That's just a detail that I wanted to affect to the game. If you drink water, this is another thing that I wanted in there, you will see that your energy starts to go up, but your water goes down. Now, water consumption also is determined by what time of the day it is. So, again, the hottest part of the day, you're probably drinking more water. You're going to see the water go down a lot. And, at some point, I want to have it so that the water truck comes just like the book and your water level goes up. I have asked Google Gemini to do that. However, it's having trouble inputting that aspect. But we'll get into some of the humps in just a minute. So if I drink water, my energy goes up. The time aspect, as we briefly talked about, is there in the game as well. Time greatly affects the gameplay. As you can see, when you dig a hole, depending on what time it is, that's how much energy you have to use. Time will, again, eventually I want a water truck to come, and the game ends at 5 p.m. Now, at some point, I want the time to actually mean something. So I want it to be that if you are a prisoner at Camp Green Lake, you are experiencing these days day by day, and you'll see that your holes dug will start to go up. So as you progress to the next day, you should start to see, hey, I've dug 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, and gone all the way up. I also have a message bar here, a message box. And with that message box, I want it to display what's going on in the game, perhaps some story elements, perhaps maybe a message from one of the campers. One of the other aspects I've wanted to put in this game, and I've tried to do it as much as possible if we could start getting into some of the humps I've encountered, is finding valuable items. So in the book, they say that if you find something interesting, you'll be given the rest of the day off. So I've put in things like bullets. I've put in things like the lipstick case that is found, perhaps even a coin. If you present that to the guard, you could get the rest of the day off, and the day will progress to the next day. That's something that I would like to input, and I've tried to do it in numerous I've tried to do it in a numerous amount of ways. However, Google Gemini seems to be struggling with this because it doesn't seem to be finding any items. I've played with the probability of finding the items, and I've also worked with telling it in a different way. Hey, I want there to be items found. Probably just something I have to continue to work with, and as Google Gemini becomes smarter, we should see a little bit more come of inputs like that. One of the other things that I'm struggling with right now is water will actually make my energy at some point go above 100, which to me is not, again, realistic. So I want it to stop at 100 because I want it to be as realistic as possible, and I want it to be as fun as possible because it should be a little bit of a challenge. So if your energy goes way above 100, to me, that's not too much of a challenge. One of the other things that I think I really want to work with is in this box right here. I wanted there to be an animation of a prisoner in a yellow jumpsuit, such as the book. And after your energy goes down to 50 and below, I want that, animation to show a bead of sweat above the head to show that you need to drink water. Again, that's something that I've tried to be very detailed with Google Gemini, but it's a little bit of a pitfall. It's a little bit of a wall that I'm hitting with it. But I think at some point, because I've been able to get this far with the amount of queries and the amount of inputs that I've put into it, I think at some point I'll achieve that. And that's what I really want to end this video on, is that your output, again, is going to be as good as your detail. That's what's going to dictate what is going to become AI slop, and that's what's going to dictate what becomes a really good product and a really good project in the end. Now, I'm not going to deploy this. I'm not looking to make any money off of this. This is purely for education purposes. This is something that excites me, that if I'm able to get it to my students' Chromebooks to be able to play, it's purely not even going to leave my classroom, because to me, this is something that they could enjoy. And I think it's going to be dependent on, what teachers want in their classrooms, what they want their students to experience. Again, you can plug in any number of standards into this over time and create the game that's special to your class. Even if you're watching this and you're not a teacher, you can create a game for your kids at home, create a game for yourself and your friends. Be as detailed as possible. Enjoy the process. Work with it. Where are you hitting the wall? Like, really, really, really try to be as clear and concise as possible with ChatGPT or Google Gemini, whatever you're using. The better you're able to conjugate your imagination, the better your project is going to be. I can't stress that enough. Thank you so much for making it this far. If you are watching at this point in time, please leave any comments below, any recommendations, any way that I could actually work with the code, because I think at some point that's going to be my next step. Like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.